What's up, everybody? Another episode of Deckin Around. My name is Tyler.
I am Steve.
And today we are beyond excited to be having Kieron the Mighty, aka Kieron Johnson, on the show. For anyone out there who doesn't know Kieron, he is an amazing magician from the UK. Absolutely blown up on TikTok over this whole pandemic kind of staying home situation there. Really hit the grind on TikTok and actually hit 1 million followers, which in my mind is an awe-inspiring number, absolutely. But even before that, Kieron has been big in the magic community for years at this point. Prior to that, he was really big, known for his regurgitation capabilities, which I think are just absolutely awe-inspiring. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you're like, what am I watching here? This is gross but awesome. So that always caught my eye with Kieron, and we are so excited to have him on the show today. Dude, I gotta say, Steve, this has been a couple weeks in the making here, and it's gonna be a fun one, man.
Dude, yeah, it took a while. Not because he wasn't interested, just because we had to reschedule a bunch of times from vacation to basement flooding, and
this is all my fault for the reschedules, but thankfully Kieron was so kind as to come back on after rescheduling twice, and that shows the mark of a true gentleman there. So, dude, this is going to be a crazy episode. I have no doubt about that.
It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be a really fun time. And for anyone out there who doesn't know Kieron, you can check out his socials down in the description below. Absolutely worth checking out. Again, 1 million followers on TikTok. I think he's around like 23,000 on Instagram right now. Scroll through all that stuff because all of his content is always awesome. He's always playing with bubbles or other cool ideas around magic, more non-traditional kind of aspects, which I always love to see because it just gets you thinking outside the box, you know?
Yeah, no, that's fun. It's definitely something different and something we're not used to seeing on
Definitely
Instagram.
something we're not used to seeing. So before we jump into it here, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Ring the bell.
And let's go do this. What's up, Kieron? How you doing, man?
Hey, I feel like no pressure. That's quite a good introduction. Oh no.
Dude, I gotta hype everybody up. They got to check out your socials because you're doing sick stuff, man. You're really doing amazing stuff outside of the normal realm of, we were talking a little bit earlier, coin and card magic. It's always so fascinating, but it's also so interesting to see people who go completely different routes. You have been, going through your first couple pages on TikTok even, there's a lot of bubbles involved. What kind of got you into the whole idea of like bubbles for social media?
It's like a crazy story, really. Like it's like I remember when I said to my friend, I'm gonna do this bubble thing, and literally my friend Connor said to me, "When Kieron, I'm just gonna let you know, no one's gonna be interested in bubbles. You should just stick to magic, do the weird stuff you do, just don't do the bubble thing." And I'm like, I've got these ideas with it. He went, "Yeah, how far can you take bubbles, really?" And here we are, a year and a half and 200 million views, and I'm like, in your face, Connor. Yes.
You should do it. You should just take some bubbles and just literally blow him in his face.
That's really what I would do. But he's actually a really good supportive friend and actually can ask for more. But I think whenever I told people I was going to do this, they just looked at me, and my wife's going like, "You're not going to do magic?" I'm like, "I'll do some magic at some point." She's like, "But you're so good at magic. Why are you not going to do magic?" I went, "I'm just going to see where this goes." And yeah, it just became a thing, really.
It's gone crazy far at this point. Again, over 1 million followers on TikTok for bubbles, which honestly though, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm sitting there and I'm watching some of the videos yesterday and I'm like, this stuff is like, it's like that oddly fascinating where you're just sitting there, you're like, oh my God, what's gonna happen next? The other thing I think about bubbles that just works is like, bubbles are so high stress. I think everyone as a kid remembers trying to blow the biggest bubble you could, and the damn thing always pops. And you're always sitting there and you're like, this is it. And then it pops or it gets even bigger. Like it gets this whole like nostalgic stress feel that I think just like hits. Like that's one of those things where you're hooked. It's like the same thing with TikTok where it's like, oh, you need like a part 2. And you're like, oh man, give me part 2 now. Like bubbles give me that same like stress feeling.
My favorite video that he did was when he had the mask on and he was trying to blow bubbles through the mask. And it didn't work, and he's like, the new way of doing bubbles, and he's like,
that never went viral. I always thought that was going to be a viral video, and I think that topped out at like 8,000. It never took off. I love that video. I thought it was going to be viral. I really did. I thought that's a clever idea, but it never took off. And if I did it now, people are like, why is he wearing a mask?
Yeah.
I posted that video 4 times and it just never took off. I don't know
It's funny.
what
That's
it
the thing.
was.
You never know. We've
No,
talked
you
about
know,
it many times, saying like some creators are like, "Oh, I think this one's gonna pop off," and nothing happens. And then ones that they're like, "Meh, I'm lazy. I'm just gonna put this video up," and that's the video that goes viral.
Oh my god, yeah.
that's happened to me. Trust me. Like I have done that.
Yeah.
I always love seeing on the
So like how I got.
Oh, good, good.
Go on, Smith. No. I cut you off. Go on, carry on.
Oh no, I think there was a little bit of lag there, but I was gonna say it's always interesting to see. Like, I feel like the
Okay.
comment is always with a creator, where they're like, even like the non-creators who go viral on TikTok, especially, the first comment from them always that they pin to the top of the video is, "I never expected this to get so many views," and it's like that whole mentality around it of like, even if you know the formula of how to create a great TikTok, the whims of people can be fickle. You know, you never know how it's gonna play out.
Well, and also that video is really early on.
Yeah.
Like that video is like right at the beginning before I managed to find a hook. So I think if I made it now, I probably could get it to do well.
Yeah.
And but at the time I made it very early on. I think also it's too short. Like I think it's 7 seconds long, and you need a video to be at least 8. So there's loads of mistakes I made with that video.
Interesting.
Because you have to understand, I came into TikTok not knowing nothing about social media, and not knowing anything about video editing. I literally was like an old person that just came in. I'm not that old, but like I would say that I'm definitely older than most of the kids on there. And so I come in, like, I have no experience other than just knowing how to perform for real people. And I guess one of the things I wanted to really do with the videos is keep them authentic, not cut, not all one shot, and mainly because that came about my inability to edit. so it just if you see later on, I get a light and the lighting gets better, but the ideas were good. I mean, so when obviously the pandemic happened, I didn't really know what to do, like a lot of people, and I thought I'd try Instagram first because I had 1,500 followers on Instagram at the time. So I thought I'd try and do Instagram, and I spent like 3 months, and I managed to get like 200 Instagram followers. And then I showed, so I was trying to entertain my kids and trying to make things fun. I started doing bubbles for them, and my daughter really responded well to them. So my wife, like, she was like, "Okay, this is cool. You're having fun with the bubbles." Then I started making my own formulas, and she said, "You're not going to take this too far." I went, "Oh no, it'll be fine. I'm just having some fun with the kids." Next thing you know, I'm setting fire to bubbles. I'm like, "Look, you can do this," and she's like, "That's cool, but like, do you not think you're taking this too far?" I went, "No, I'm just going to make a video," and I sent it to my friend, and I put it up on TikTok, on Instagram, and no one watched it. And my friend phones me up and said, "Why didn't you try it on TikTok?" So I tried it. No one watched it. So I just kept posting the same video over and over again, and then just it went to 40,000. So I went, okay, that was amazing. That felt great. And then I just kept making more of those videos, figuring them out. And before I knew it, it just escalated really, and the bubble became a thing. And they helped me get to 77,000. And then I started doing different stuff, like the superhuman stuff, and I started doing a different style, and that's what, once I got the base audience, I was able to build up base audience, and then I went up to hundreds of thousands, which has been insane. But I've neglected Instagram. I didn't do anything with Instagram till about 5 weeks ago. I just hit 31,000 today. I went up from 26,000 this morning to 31,000. Like,
Nice.
because I started posting videos up on there. So
That's intense, man. That's crazy. Because I know when I looked earlier this week, you were at like 23. So
yeah,
like
30,
you've
31
definitely
now.
jumped it. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
Crazy.
Well, yeah, I've gone up ridiculous just today. Like I've just had loads of videos go viral all at once, so it's just helped the channel.
That's cool.
Because yeah, there's real slow growth on TikTok. So and TikTok on Instagram, like you post a video and it does nothing, and then all of a sudden, out of blue, like 2 weeks later, it went up. And what's happened is one of those has gone off, and all the ones next to it have gone with it.
Right.
So, which is great, because I think Instagram is really allowing me to be more of an artist, other than TikTok. Don't get me wrong, I love TikTok, and I'm really proud of like the 1 point. It's amazing. But at the same time, I kind of got trapped into like these series, and I love doing them. But I feel like anytime I try and be arty, it just dies.
Yeah.
So,
And I think there's that appreciation of more of a creative aspect to some extent on Instagram versus TikTok.
yeah, like I got this video where I turn a bubble into from a caterpillar and it goes up and it changes to a butterfly. I put that on TikTok and it got like 8,000, and all the messages were, "This is reversed, this is reversed, this is catch." I put it on Instagram and like it's just hit 1 million today, which is insane. And
That's
then
crazy.
and it's like, this is so arty. This is like, it's weird. It's so, I'm realizing now that I'm not treating them the same anymore. So videos I'm going to post on Instagram are going to be videos just from TikTok. Because originally I was just posting the same videos, but now I think my plan is just to do more arty stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Instagram is, I look at it this way. Instagram is all like old people, right? Not old
people
as
my
in, like,
age.
Older,
our age. And then you have TikTok, which is like 15-year-old kids, you know? So it's like, that's kind of that they don't have the mindset for creative art, most of them yet, you know? They don't have the appreciation for it.
Yeah, I mean, even on Instagram, I get a bit of like, it's been a bit of a weird journey, but I think I've just really enjoyed. I also don't have the pressure of worrying about trying to go viral. Like on TikTok, I've got to the point where when you have so much success, when you're hitting like 1 million nearly every day for months, suddenly anything below suddenly goes, what am I doing wrong? And you get trapped into this like weird cycle of like, if I don't hit 100,000, I'm not good anymore. And if you know, but you know, obviously not every video is going to be big, but when you're on that roll, it's weird. Where with Instagram, I don't even think about like the views or the numbers at all. I just post a video and I like just I have no expectation there. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, it's understandable. It's when you don't have expectations, you can't be disappointed, right?
No,
When
also,
you just when you're just doing the Instagram and you have an idea of, okay, I can just be me on there or whatever, you know, do the things that are more artsy and stuff like that, then you don't have those expectations of, okay, it has to hit 1 million.
yeah, I have no expectation on going viral at all, and I think in a way I'm probably producing some of my best work at the moment. But oddly, if it's on TikTok, you know, I'm really grateful for the fans because they really support it. But I think also like they want to see the immortal bubble. That's the thing they always want to see. You know, like what will happen to the immortal bubble next? So it's just become this crazy series of this bubble that won't pop. And I think I can occasionally do arty things, like I did my skateboard where I'm on an umbrella. And at first it didn't do very well, but because I put it around an immortal bubble, it picked up over time. Where, you know, yeah, so that's what I'm kind of doing now. I'll post a video for me, then a video for the audience.
Dude, you know? we keep getting a bunch of people in the chat. They're trying to like kind of
guess what's in your fridge, basically.
They're trying to guess what's in the fridge.
You'll never guess what's in my fridge.
All right, so far we have beer, fish, and chips, and aluminum.
Yeah, and we got a bunch of beef. We got a bunch of beef.
Beef.
Which, the thing is, only one of them is a freezer, and one of them is a fridge.
All right.
So, you know, can they guess which one's the freezer, which one's the fridge? Don't look.
I already know. The one on the left is always the freezer.
See,
is it? I had to look to check.
But Steve, here's the thing, though. Usually, the one with the freezer is the one with the ice maker.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm thinking his might be switched.
Well, he's in the UK, right? So it's probably switched.
So my guess would be the one on the left is the fridge.
Yeah. So this is the fridge with the water dispenser.
Okay, so is ice? Well, is ice on the other side?
Ice is on this side. Yeah.
So there's an ice. There's no ice dispenser. That's why sometimes the water is with the ice dispenser. This doesn't have an ice dispenser.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
All right, so he's got some eggs. He's got some yogurt. That's nice.
It's very exciting. Some ice cream in there. There's some chips there. I do have some fish and chips, but they're better than chips, to be honest. It's the one thing we do in England where you know people. I'm not saying that we don't know what flavor is, but let's just say that I didn't realize that flavor existed till I left England and traveled the world. I was like, oh my god, what's this? It's flavor. Like, So if you go to England, just go to fish and chips. You'll enjoy those.
Dude, England has some. I heard that England has some of the best Indian restaurants.
Yeah, but that's not English.
No, that's true. That's true.
Like the best food in England is Chinese and Indian is amazing. The flavor is amazing. No, we do have
Indian food out there.
I can't believe yeah, it is. And fish and chips are amazing. And to be honest, actually, the food in England is not terrible. It's good. I feel like I'm dissing my entire country on a line. I apologize.
I mean, listen, it's okay.
Funny.
I think everyone kind of gets used to the idea that their local cuisine is never the best because you don't know. There's all these other things out there that you kind of see as like, oh, this is a treat to have or to try, or I've never had this or that. Like, think about like the first time. Like, I mean, I don't know about like in the UK, but I know in like the US for the longest time, like gelato was never really a thing. And then it's like, okay, we always had ice cream and now you have gelato everywhere. And people are like, oh man, yes, we're going to get gelato tonight. Like it's a big deal. And I'm like, it's another type of ice cream. Like you're good. It's all right. But like people get pumped over stuff like that. But at the same time, like people get bored with the stuff that they get to have every day. Like,
yeah. Oh, no. Well, when I toured the South, I had barbecue for the first time and it was amazing.
It
was amazing. But 4 months in the South and you must try our barbecue. We have the best barbecue in the South. I'm like, oh, do you have anything else? I had barbecue yesterday. No, have our barbecue. I'm just like, go along, have the barbecue. Don't insult them. So by the end of like the 3 months, I've tried everyone's barbecue. I'm like, yeah, I love barbecue. like I just want salad.
Yeah, I can't eat too much barbecue either.
I was craving barbecue the other night though for some reason, but I didn't get it. Instead, I think I had pizza, which was not as good.
He's like pizza and burrito boy over there.
I've had both this week.
I do like. I did enjoy the barbecue. It's just a lot of barbecue.
Like, dude, that's tough.
Anyway, let's not talk about food because I feel like I'm just going to insult anyone about food. So I apologize. If it makes you feel better, my punishment was I was in China and they had like literally a chicken with the feet in there, and they saved the feet especially for me. And I just looking around at this dingiest place, and I have to eat the feet with this mocker, and I'm just like, I'm not hungry. I'm okay, thank you. And like my friend's like, can't receive it's rude. So I'm having to eat. Okay, like, so that was my punishment. I had to eat this foot, and I'm like, it was like I had to smile for it. Like,
that's so gross.
There's some things I just won't eat. That's for sure.
Oh my god!
But I couldn't refuse because I was a guest, and it would have been rude. So I ate it, and it was. Anyway, let's not talk about food. This has gone weird.
Yeah, that's the fun part about the show. It can go weird very quickly all the time, and that's perfectly fine. But so we touched on the fact that you have gotten very, very social media famous because of these bubbles here. But obviously, magic was your first kind of passion around a lot of this. You know, you mentioned your wife and your friends were all like, "Oh, what about magic? What about magic?" How did you first kind of get into like the field? What first got you into magic?
So when I was, it's weird because I never really liked magic as a kid. Like my grandfather did magic, and I enjoyed that, and I enjoy the memory now. I don't think I appreciated it at the time. I'll be very honest. I don't. I feel like I was delayed wonder. So he'll do a trick for me, and now when I think about it, it blows my mind. At the time, I was like, oh, cool. I feel like I was a delay switch, and when I think about that, I'm like, how good was that? But I had to like fast forward 20 years of my life to appreciate the trick. It's funny. Weird. It's weird. And I always feel like bad. Like I watched David Blaine with my dad, like when he first came on TV, and my dad's like, "Oh, this guy's crazy. He's a witch," and I'm like, "The wizard." I'm like, and I'm just looking at him and go, "Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna go and play computer games." So I had no interest in magic, and then the worst because I even saw like how people go, oh, "I never saw magic before I got into it." I saw loads of close-up magicians when I was in the forces. I was in the Navy for 5 years. So we had gardeners, I saw stage magicians, close-up magicians, and I was never rude. I was always like, yeah, but I was never. When I think about the tricks they did now I'm like, how did they do that? But it's almost like I was like my brain was switched off from experiencing that, and I don't know why because I love science, I love chemistry, I love messing around, making things. So I don't know. But when I left the forces, my friend was really shy. He's a really big guy, but he's shy. and he read about this magic shop that was open. So we went and visited it, and I just stood with him while he bought loads of magic. And basically, this guy started hammering a nail up his nose, which was like amazing. And he goes, "Oh, I can do something like that." And I said, "Do you have a coin?" And I swallowed the coin and put the coin back from it. And he's freaking out. He goes, "How did you do that trick?" I went, "Oh, I'm not a magician. That's just something I've been able to do since I was a kid." He goes, "No, tell me the secret. I'll buy it off you." I went, "There's no secret. I can just do it." Yeah, there's a secret. Like you switch it in. I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about right now. This is just something I've been doing since I was a kid." So there's me freaking out the guy in the magic shop. And Terry Pratchett, I'll never forget him. And I'm like, so then they start showing us other magic, and then eventually they run out of stuff to demo, so they start showing us penguin videos. So we start watching Oz Pullman. like, well, we have no more to show you. Let's just put on the video penguin. And one of the tricks that came up was cartoon with the stick man. And it absolutely blew my mind. I love comics. I love animation. I loved anime. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. I made them put it on a few times. I said, "Are you getting that?" They said, "In a week's time." So I paid in advance for the trick. Bought the card trick while I was there. Kind of played with it. Showed my brother. My brother liked it. My dad loved it. My dad's like, "How do you do that?" So I'm starting to go, "Oh, people like this." So I go back the week after, and I don't think they thought I was going to come in. And I basically bought that trick, performed that trick, and I loved that trick so much that it became like this massive thing for me. I even had a jacket which I had the emblem of the stick man on. It became a real big thing for me. And then really cool. I got bitten really hard, because then once I did that trick, I'm like, what else can I do? And then it just escalated from there, and I absolutely love magic. And then suddenly I started thinking about all these tricks I saw when I was younger, and I'm like, oh, that was amazing. And it was weird. It was almost like a switch went on. I feel like really the weirdest magic origin story I've ever.
That's cool.
That's awesome though, that you can look back at all the experiences as a kid and appreciate them now, though. You know, so it's not completely lost. In the moment, it was lost, but now you can see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I particularly hated it, magic. I didn't hate the experience. I think I just didn't really I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just.
You just weren't ready for it.
Yeah, I was too busy thinking about science and making things, and I don't know. I have no idea why, but I can appreciate that. I can remember every trick I was shown, so I have it all in my head. So it was just there. But now I think, oh, that was amazing. I wonder who that magician who did this trick was. I wonder how they did it, and it is a weird one for me. But then I fell in love with it really hard, and the next thing I know, I'm like spending like £4,000 or £5,000 within like a month on as much magic. So all the money I saved up while I was working, suddenly I started buying cards and buying every DVD. I became like a sponge. I bought like everything I could find. Like I watched the entire encyclopedia of card magic, and I was just literally anything I could find, I would absorb and watch. And I just became hyper obsessed with magic. And
do you have a drawer full of all that stuff?
You should see my room is like the cupboard. If I open the door, everything will fall out. My wife hates it. Like literally, they've got boxes upon boxes. I might show you later, maybe. It is an absolute mess. I've got like I got too much magic. It's like even now, but it was an education for me really, and I feel like it just became something I really loved doing, and I really loved performing magic. I just loved the reactions. Like you kind of get addicted to people freaking out and stuff, and and I really enjoyed people smiling, and I just enjoyed seeing people happy. And before I knew it, that became more consuming. I would go out every night with just a bit of magic on me, no money, and I wouldn't ask for money, but I wouldn't pay for a drink in the bar. I wouldn't pay for food. I kind of had this kind of, as long as I was performing, which I absolutely loved anyway.
Nice.
I couldn't get enough of it. That I got a free ride, so I got to perform, which I wanted to do anyway. Plus, I didn't pay for anything where I lived, so I became kind of a local celebrity in a weird way, like almost like a homeless person, because I never paid for anything, but I never had any money. So like, and any money I had went on magic, so new stuff. So it was a bit of a weird time. They got to the point where obviously my parents moved away, so I was kind of ended up living in this weird house. And I say weird house. It was like no one paid rent. I guess it kind of like, I don't know if it belonged to someone or not, or we just stayed there. I have no idea. But all I know is I had to climb through the fire escape every day because I was the smallest. And I used to rip my trousers in the same place. So I had this hole, all my trousers had this hole from climbing through this fire escape.
You never learned how to climb through it without ripping your pants, huh?
No, it was really tiny, and I was like, and I had to get through, and we did actually have keys to the building, by the way, just to let you know there were keys. It's just that no one could ever get the door to open, and this was the only. I don't know what was going on during those times. Like, I have a mattress on the floor, and I lived like if you ever saw it, you would feel sorry for me. But I loved it because I just went out, slept on there, went out. It was a different place. But because of that, and because I spent all my magic on where I probably should be paying for food and clothes, I ended up looking a bit rag, I guess. And when I think about it now, like I remember I couldn't afford a belt, so all my trousers were with old highs. So people would think I was like quite hipster, but really it was just to keep my trousers up.
That's so funny.
It is too funny.
Yeah, it was a weird life. And then what happened is the IBM used to be in my hometown, so every time they would come, they would use my face to promote the IBM. I don't think the IBM used my face, but the local newspapers would be like, Magic coming to Southport. And then because I had done some like articles and they've written some stuff on me, they would always use my photo for it, which was weird. I don't think the IBM knew that, but I could afford to go to the IBM. So I used to like hang outside getting autographs. And I met this magician called Rocco Solano, and he was so nice to me. So nice. He started showing me magic. He gave me loads of DVDs, and then he asked me if I could show him around the town. And I said yeah, and he went, come meet me tonight. So I met him. He introduced me to Ali Bongo, and Ali Bongo like shook my hand, and literally just spent hours showing me sleeving techniques and how different magic could be. Because at the time I was doing kind of like trying to do card tricks, trying to do that stuff. He started showing me stuff with misdirection, sleeving. And he was so nice. He basically he said, oh, here's 100 quid, go get some clothes. Because he said, you're going to spend time with me tomorrow. I can't have you with trousers. So I went and bought a new suit with him. He was like so nice. But that one meeting like changed my entire life. And also on magic, because he did this amazing thing. This was before Dynamo was really famous. And this guy kept like name checking Dynamo to Rocco, because I don't think he knew who Rocco was, and he was lecturing there. And I remember we're in the bar, and I look over and Rocco's just doing this, and I'm like, why is he doing that? The next thing I know, the can on the table starts moving across the table. Then he does this, the can flips up into the bin, and this guy goes starts freaking out. I'm freaking out. He goes, bet Dynamo can't do that, and then walks up, and this guy's like, I'm like, how? So I go, because obviously I can sit with him, so I go back and I say to him, how did you do that? And he said to me, if you look around hard enough, there's magic all around us. You just have to be aware of it. He said, go to the bar and ask for the can. So I went back to the bar, got the can. He went, and you'll figure it out. So I put the can down, and I realized the can started moving. And what had happened is I said to the barman, I went, oh, it's moving. He went, oh yeah, this is just something we'd like to do for fun. Like the barman had made the table wet, and they set it up so it flips, so that it was just something they did for fun. So Rocco had seen this, saw the moment happening, went into position, and did the move, and everyone around him reacted. And
That's
I was
so
like,
funny.
wow. And then he said to me, if you look around hard enough, magic will happen. The best thing about this story is, fast forward 9 years later, I'm in China, I'm performing in the same stage with him, which was just mind blowing for me. I'm his warm up act. That was like the highest honor of my career. And when we go back to his apartment afterwards, and I start doing my metal bending routine, and I use 2 forks. And what happened as I'm bending it, everyone's leaning in and listening to the story, and everyone's really enjoying it. And I do this bit where the fork on the table starts moving, and I start doing this, and the fork moves. and everyone freaks out, and I carry on with my routine, and I do this. And what no one really knows is someone had knocked the table, and I saw the moment happen. So I went like this. So afterwards, Rocco said to me, he said, "You have to tell me. You have to tell me how you made that fort move. You must tell me. How did you make it move?" I looked him in the eyes and went, "Rocco, if you look round hard enough, there's magic to be had everywhere."
Nice.
And he just grabbed me and he goes, "No, no." And I went, "Yeah." I saw it moving and I took advantage of the opportunity. So it was like that was like the greatest moment in my life, because one, I'm performing for my hero that taught me that in the first place, and then I got to have give him the same feeling that he gave me.
That's cool.
Which was
That really
like
is
amazing. Like
that really is so amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how we got on this tangent of me talking about random things like this.
Dude, that's how it works.
This is the fun of it, man. I think the question might have been, how'd you get into magic? But that was like 9 minutes ago, and we got some dope stories out of it, so that's awesome.
Well, it kind of that is kind of how I got into magic. Like like even though I've been doing magic for a few years and I got a reputation, I wasn't doing magic. I was doing tricks on the street, and I only started doing magic after I met him. That's like, so I can go, how did you get into learning tricks? But the story is asked, how did you get into magic? He was the reason I started thinking about magic. I started thinking, okay, you know what? What if I can turn a pack of cards into soil and flowers? What if I could turn things into toast? What if I could take a drink and then make it into milk? And I go, no, that's rubbish. What if I can take a drink and it's tea or coffee and the can's hot? And then I started thinking about those things. And also, like, I told him about this magic bar in Bristol, and possibly I could get a job there, but they only wanted me for a week, and I don't know. And he said, you have to go. I said, I can't. I don't know if I should go up there. And he went, you should go. And I went because he told me I should go, and I ended up getting a job there properly. And
That's awesome.
I met my wife a month later. My entire life changed, and I took kind of those feelings of magic to the bar, and that's when I started working on my lollipop stuff, my ice productions, the different styles, because I had stability. So it kind of he kind of reignited my passion, and then to get to perform with him, and he came and watched my lecture. He's always just been such a great support as well.
That's cool.
And he's always kind of out of it a little bit most of the time. If you ever met him, he's like, like, he doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing, but he's just a really clever, nice guy, and like, I love watching him. I think he's one of those performers that should be bigger, really, within magic, you know. But
yeah,
you know, for me, he's kind of like, just not just an amazing magician, he's an amazing person as well. And you know, I always talk about it fondly because that was like a life-changing moment for me. You know, so there we go.
how old were you?
22, yeah, 22. I had hair then, so but yeah, 22, and that's why I wanted to learn sleeving. That's why, if you see my early work, I do a lot of those techniques, and even when I perform now, I use those techniques, and that was inspired by him because he taught me how to do it. You see, I mean,
That's really cool.
so that like, I had a week, 4 days training on sleeving with Rocco Solano, and like a lot of people don't realize this, but Slidini taught him. So Slidini was his teacher. So I always feel like, when I think about it, my paternal magic grandfather is Slidini. So I always, when I think about that, I get so excited because I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like, he taught him, he taught me. So I feel like I come from good stock, weirdly.
That's so cool.
That is really
The
cool.
lineage. The lineage there is strong.
Yeah, and now I feel like all three of us did magic in our own way, really. Like, you know, Rocco does magic in his own way, Slidini does magic in his own way. And I feel like I'm doing that as well. Like, I'm not set out to do magic in my way. I didn't set out to become popular doing bubbles, because I don't just do bubbles on TikTok. I do magic, and occasionally I do my regurgitate. I do more than just one thing, but I feel like sometimes you just go with the path and just see how it goes, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how long does it take you to train yourself to do some of these? You know, like the regurgitation routine. Like, how is that just something you picked up, or
been able to do it since I was 7 years old.
Really?
Wow.
How did you realize you could
how
do
did
that?
how did you stumble across that? Like,
I feel like I should have an epic story, but I don't really. Basically, when I was a kid, I just somehow figured out that I could bring things back up. I don't know how I figured it out. Have no idea why I figured it out. All I know is I did it. I showed my brother. My brother thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and he would dare me to do more. I basically came from my brother saying, "My brother can do this weird thing," and by the time I was 10, I would take different colored sweets, swallow them, bring them back in order. I'd never seen another regurgitator in the world. I didn't know regurgitation was a thing. I figured that maybe my brother could do it, but he just didn't want to do it. I figured it wasn't that weird. It was just something I could do, and it's kind of something I did as a party trick. When I was in the Navy, I used to entertain people with it. I showed them a few things. But I never really thought of myself as a magician. I never really
yeah.
thought of myself as a regurgitator. I just thought this is just one of those things I can do, and people want to see it in a party situation, so I do it. And like I never thought of it as special or unique or rare or anything. If anything, it was just one of those things I could do. When I was like in my 20s, I showed some magicians. They started comparing me to Stevie Star. I'd never even heard of Stevie Star at the time. I'm like, "Oh, do you watch Stevie Star?" I went, "I don't know who that is. I've been doing that since I was a kid." And then I showed them the water thing and all the different things. And I'm like, "Oh, like," and at the time, the reaction was, "That's really disgusting." So it wasn't really that accepted. So it just became one of those things I would do at conventions. People say, "Oh, here you can do this weird thing," and I would show them something. Eventually, it became a utility device. So I started using it within Magic to switch things out. Basically, it became my own personal holdout device.
So
Um,
crazy.
yeah, so it became part of a utility thing. And then obviously David Blaine came on telly, and everyone's like, suddenly I'm getting messages from magicians from all over the place going, "Kieron, can you teach me how to do that? I've seen you do that." If you can find him on Facebook, the minute he was like, "Oh, I've seen Kieron do that. Kieron does that. Kieron can do that. Kieron can do that."
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, but then obviously history changes, and everyone's like, "Oh, were you inspired by David Blaine?" I'm like, "Oh no, I've kind of done this as a thing since I was a kid."
You'd be like, I was doing it
So,
before David Blaine
but
was a magician.
well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just something that's been part of me for such a long time, and then I started getting like, while my magic designs were starting to get noticed, because I could do this other thing, I would start getting booked for conventions. So they would book me to come and perform this act. So it became like an act. So in a way, he really helped me because suddenly I had this act that people wanted to see. So it took me to Japan, it took me to China, it took me all over Europe, it took me to America. So by him making it popular, he got me a lot of work because suddenly
Wow.
everyone's like, "This guy can do it. Why do we hire him to come and do the show?" Because I'm probably a lot cheaper than David Blaine. And it got me
Yeah,
on
David
TV.
only did a goldfish.
He did a
Yeah,
frog too, didn't he?
yeah, he did a frog. He's
Yeah.
amazing. Like,
Yeah.
he's the only person I know that's actually learned how the water spout like properly. So, which is amazing. I'm sure there are others. I apologize if I've missed you out. I just don't know you or you're not on social media. I haven't seen it. But I know of 8 other people in the world that can do it. As I've said, I'm sure there's other people that can do things like that, but I only know 8 personally.
That's crazy.
And yeah, it was just one of those things I can do. It's odd because I've never, as I said, I never really thought about it as rare or what it is. For me, it's the same as breathing. It's always been part of me since I was a kid. I keep looking at my son and thinking, are you going to be able to do it? Is it a genetic thing? How did I figure it out? Like, is it just one of those things? It's like, so I've always had a really good connection with my body. For
Okay.
example, if you can see, like, one of my eyes isn't as straight as the other one. So,
Okay.
Right.
but when this happened, this used to really annoy me, and I wanted to have straight eyes, and I was very conscious about looking people in the eyes. But then I realized one day that I would never change this for anything because I realized if I focus, I can actually move the eye across, back,
So cool.
like that.
Dude, that's
So
crazy.
so I started to realize that maybe I just have a good control of my body. I don't know. I can only do that if I'm looking at it. If I'm not looking at myself, I can't make it move. Or if I can make it move, I don't know if it's moving. So I can't feel it. I just know that if I do that and I do that, I can get it to move. So I can kind of make it happen. And then obviously sometimes I do it as a magic thing.
That's so
So yeah, so I just always had kind of a good control over my body. I mean, I can actually slow down my heart for real and my pulse. So my brothers put me on medical equipment, and I just do it and slow it down. So it's not I don't have to cheat or do a trick. I just figured out how I could do that kind of thing when I was a kid. I don't know how I figured it out, but
That's
I did.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's really intense. Like that amount of control over your bodily function really is pretty impressive. And like you said, even if you don't necessarily feel it, the mind muscle connection is there to do it, even if it doesn't have a associated feeling. But that's crazy, man. That's awesome.
Well, I've got this condition, and it's not really that rare. Like, there are other people with it, but I have something called dyspraxia, which is a coordination problem. And I have quite a severe form of it. So I didn't talk till I was 4. I didn't walk till I was like 4.5. So and even now I can't really hold a pencil. So I can just about write my name. So I struggle with anything to do with fine motor skills. So I think maybe it came from a fact that I had to work really hard to get everything moving. That maybe my brain, I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. Like,
that's really interesting now.
Yeah. When I tell
that conscious effort there probably amplified a lot of the control.
Maybe. And when I tell people I'm a magician and then I tell them I have dyspraxia, they look at me and laugh because they think I'm joking.
Oh,
interesting.
Because the concept of a person with a coordination issue. But what I found is that ability to move differently really helps me with magic, because I move in such a different way that it's helped me create my own style of magic. So when I show a magician, they might see a move, because I had to figure out a new way to do that. I don't do the move any differently, but I had to figure it out. Like, even my technique with bubbles, which is such a fine art skill, I was struggling to do ways people had shown me. So I ended up having to figure out my own path. And I had to kind of do the same with magic. I've always had to kind of figure out my own path with movements, because I always struggled to move like everyone else. So I end up, even with yo-yoing, I love yo-yoing, but I had to figure out my own way to do the tricks. And that annoyed my friend who was teaching me. He's like, "Can't you just follow the instructions?" And I'm like, "I can't do it that way." But if I do that, he goes, I've never seen anyone do it that way. That's such a weird way. I went, "Yeah, but it works, and it still looks good."
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. People do things different ways. They work as long as they work. You get the end goal. That's what's good about it. So, dude, that's crazy now.
Yeah. So like, it just kind of came from a thing, and I just I've always been able to do it. Do you want to see something? I'll show you.
Let's see it.
So I have like a load of coins. So. So I was meant to be, before the pandemic, I was actually going to be on America's Got Talent, because I was a semi-finalist on Germany, and I got to the finals of Italy's Got Talent. So I'd been invited to go up to America's Got Talent, and I was in America when the pandemic hit. I was in LA. So I was in LA when they started shutting everything down. Because of what I do, and also the theatre getting shut down, obviously didn't get picked in the end, which was gutting. But at the same time, I realized that I'd been doing this wrong on TV for years. So I ended up painting coins different colors. So I don't know why I'm going on about that. But let me show you this. So normally, if you were here, I would get you to mix this up. So I'll just mix it up, so I really don't know which way it's going in my mouth. Okay. I'll to check. So some people think it's like not. I haven't swallowed it properly. I have. If you go on my channel, you can actually go watch the X-rays where the doctors examine me. I don't know if you saw those videos where
I'm gonna have to check that out. That's I saw an article talking about it, but that sounds intense.
Yeah. So now I can talk. So normally when I was on stage, I would have someone put a glove, I stick their fingers down, check everything. like fingers up my nose, everything, the whole thing. What color do you want it back? Red or silver? I have no idea right now where it is.
Silver?
Well, I know where it is, but
let's say silver. Let's say silver.
okay.
What the
Crazy.
No.
That's crazy.
You want to see something weirder?
Yeah, I'm always
the crazy thing is normally when people do it, they don't.
It's like they gag it up or something. That just kind of like rolled out of your
Yeah.
Oh, so here's the crazy thing. Even when I water spout, I don't make any noises. I don't know if I can water spout right now because I had some coffee, but I can try it in a second. I'll check.
Take your time with it. I don't want to make you do anything that's going to be backfiring on you, but yeah, that's
No, it won't backfire.
Crazy.
Well,
so
here's the thing. Yeah, sorry, I'm cutting it off all the time. I apologize. So for me, let's do. Let me just bring that back. Just to show you that I can do red.
That's so crazy.
So you can see. So there you go. Silver, red, whatever.
I've never.
It's like a conveyor belt that just drops coins.
It's literally fucking Amazon. It's like.
Yeah. Well. Okay, the water's better. The water was a bit weird before, so I didn't want to drink it.
It was weird before. Now it's fine.
Well, it tasted a bit chemically.
Yeah, that's water for you.
If you're in the US,
from the tap.
If it's from the tap in the US, it always tastes chemically. So.
Yeah. Let me try this.
Jeez.
It's looking a bit coffee colored, so I apologize. I have a coffee, but as long as you know that.
That is a lot of water to drink.
How fast he drinks that thing?
Oh, I'm going quite slow actually. I don't know why. Don't know why I'm rolling my sleeves. I guess I just want to make it look like it isn't. I'm under no pressure to do this, and I don't want to seem like I see some guys.
No pressure, man. You've already impressed me.
Here we go. Yeah, I've completely overshot that. There's a bit of coffee there. I knew that was gonna come up.
Dude, you can like scare people.
That's intense. Yeah. That is intense.
When I do it properly and I haven't had coffee, the longest I can hold it for is about 34 seconds.
Jackson's like, what the holy freaking?
By the way, that's not the weirdest thing I can do.
I like how he's like cleaning up his whole kitchen.
Oh my God.
I overshot. I didn't mean to, but I overshot.
That's crazy.
So like, and that goes to show though that you're bringing this up from your stomach. It's not just like sitting in your esophagus somewhere. Like the fact that it's mixing with the coffee color.
I hate to say this, but I am the real deal.
Yeah, no, that's intense. That's intense.
Yeah, crazy.
So I can everything I'm doing for you right now. I've done under X-ray, and the doctors have examined me. And if you were here now, if you meet me and you're scaring, can you swallow point? If you wanna wear one of my rubber gloves and check me out, you're more than welcome.
I can see it coming up. I don't have to check anything.
Okay, good. Sorry, I was saving a little bit in. I wish I hadn't had coffee now, to be honest. Red and silver.
Oh my God.
Oh.
So if you were here right now, I'd get you to check up here. For real. I have to admit, I hate doing this.
Oh God, what is he doing? What?
Holy shit.
How?
Oh my God, that can't be comfortable. That can't be comfortable.
My brother hates it.
Oh my God.
Dude, how on earth?
Oh my god.
Oh, crazy. I'm going to put a kettle on. I hope that's okay.
Yeah,
This is
go
a kettle,
for
by the
it.
way, here in America.
Listen, after that, you do whatever you need to do.
How the hell? I was like, there's no way. Like, how is that gonna happen?
How does a coin fit through the nasal passage? It's so tiny.
It's not. It's not. I smashed my nose when I was in the forces. So
Yeah.
I used to have nosebleeds. So my cavity is bigger. But I learned how to do it when I met this random guy. He basically messaged me and he goes, "I've seen David Blaine water spout. I saw a viral video of you water spouting. Would you teach me?" I went, "Yeah, I don't know who you are." I went, "I can get on a bus tomorrow and come meet you." So I ended up like telling my wife I knew this guy for years, but I'd never even met the guy. So this is before I had kids. This was a long time. I wouldn't let a random stranger in my house now. I'm like, but like, so we had this like really crazy like yoga guy, and he could make water come out of his nose. So, he did this thing called neck climb, and he could do that. So I asked, I would teach him to water spout. Unfortunately, he didn't learn, and but I learned how to do that, and then I realized I could push things through. Like I freak out. My wife goes, "Look, a bunch of peas." Like, so don't do that.
That's crazy. That's
yeah.
like next level for sure.
Well,
So now I have a logistics question now. How long can you keep something down before when it comes up it just doesn't look too good?
So as long as I'm not eating,
All right.
anytime. Like, so the problem is I had coffee, but I wasn't going to do the water spouting, and then I changed my mind halfway through. So I knew it was going to be coffee color. If I do the water spouting now, it'll be clear. But I gave a warning. So there we
But so
go.
like if you ate a pea now, could you like shoot it back up though in like 30 minutes?
If I ate a lot of them, yeah.
Okay.
If I had peas for dinner, like the craziest thing I've ever done is when I was having dinner with Andy. Sorry, I'm name dropping. Andy
No, do
Glenn,
it.
Josh J, Darnell, like the other brothers, and who else was there? The really smart English guy, Tony Restore guy. He never really talks to me. I think he thinks I'm a bit weird. Nice.
That's
But he
funny.
always kind of looks at me and smiles like he's scared I'm going to do so. And we're chatting, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well we got a theory that it's not going into your stomach. It's a trick." And I went, "All right, name something I've just eaten. What do you want? Do you want some peas? Do you want me to bring back the red wine?" And because when I want to, I can kind of control more things down there. It's harder when if I've just eaten and I haven't eaten all day, I can kind of feel things better. It's like one of the things I spent like a year learning was Haji Ali. Everyone always talks about his kerosene trick. They always talk about when he drank kerosene. That's not the best thing Haji Ali could do. The best thing he could do, and this is the reason you'll never see anyone talk about it, because it is hard. Even for me, it's hard. And for him, it would have been hard. It's a hard skill. He would swallow 10 nuts. He wouldn't swallow a coin. He would swallow a handkerchief, which would be signed. And then he would show his mouth empty, and then he said, "Give me a number." And he would bring 6 nuts back, and then the seventh thing would be the handkerchief. And I did it with a coin, and that learning that control was crazy. So as long as I've not had food on top of the food, I can kind of figure out where things are. So when I
That is
did it for them,
weird.
they're like, "Bring meat." I went, "Okay, all right, get me a carrot." I went, "Bring that." They're just like getting me to do this weird thing at dinner. You would think anywhere else in the world this would be the most disgusting thing, but getting a round of applause for bringing back my food.
That's
Convention.
funny. That's
So
crazy that you can
yeah,
decipher like what's what.
it's hard. It's not easy, and I hate doing it. The nut routine. Ironically, I've nearly choked from the inside on the nut routine. And I always thought this would be really funny, a man choking from the inside, because
Jeez.
because what I didn't realize is if you bring too many nuts back all at once, it clogs up here and you can't get them through. So I've literally got
Oh,
had issues. So
Jesus.
learning how to bring them back one at a time was the hardest thing in the world.
You have to
But
learn
you
that.
know,
That's how I don't understand.
well, I just learned that more for me, really.
Yeah, for safety
I think
purposes, I can understand that. You want to start learning to bring up like lifesavers, so if they get stuck, you can still breathe.
Well, that's what I generally use
Eh.
in my show is lifesavers and things like that. I've only ever performed the nut thing twice on stage. One time the audience got it and realized it was amazing. The other time, I don't think they realized how dangerous it was. They were just like, "Oh yeah, it's interesting."
Have you ever done it with someone's ring? Like literally swallowed someone's ring?
No, I haven't. Like I know. The thing is, because I'm not going to be rude to people, because I'm really swallowing things, like 100% going down to here. Anything like that, once it gets past, it's a nightmare to get back up.
Right.
You can get caught and stuff. The worst thing I ever swallowed was I tried to do Houdini's key thing. I swallowed the key. Biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah.
Biggest mistake. The stupidest thing I ever done. Swallowed the key, no problem. Got the key down. Brought the key back. Didn't think about the key moving. Didn't think keys could hit the stomach and then change shape. Never thought. I swallowed it this way, and the key decided to come up this way.
Ugh.
Got it all the way to here, and I had to get. It was a nightmare. There was a lot of blood. Sorry, this has got weird and dark.
No, that's fine.
No, that's interesting.
This is fascinating.
Yeah.
And I would never swallow a key ever again. Like
that's good. Or anything that resembles a key.
I think I learned the hard way of why he stuck it in a potato. I'm like, why are you sticking in a potato? You just swallow it. Now I realized the reason he put it in a potato, he must have. I bet you Houdini had the same issue. I bet he did that when this is not good because he could regurgitate. He was a regurgitator, and he used to put everything in potatoes. Now I realize, one, if it's in a potato, it floats in the stomach. It's a lot easier to retrieve. Secondly, if it switches around, it's not going to hurt you. Crazy. So there you go. That's why you should always read books about what other people have done. The thing is, I didn't think about it. I just thought, I don't know why he's done it that way. I'm just going to swallow it. And the funny thing is, I didn't even have a routine for it. I just wanted to try it out. Luckily, I didn't do it on stage or anything. It was just something I tried, and I've never done again since.
I don't blame you.
Dude, yeah, that sounds like a good lesson to learn in the privacy of your own home.
Yeah, it wasn't the best thing when I had to go to my wife. Go, all right, I need you to hold these pliers steady. She's like,
oh my god, I'm sure that's true love right there.
True love. Just like she just looks at me like she doesn't. She's a supporter of the regurgitation, but she has the same feeling about regurgitation that she does about bubbles. She's like, but you're a magician, just stick magic. She doesn't say stick to magic, but she sometimes thinks that the magic I do gets lost. Like today, we went to a birthday party for my son's friend, and I did magic. I just did a couple of things with some cards and some keys because people asked me to, and she's like, she loved it. She likes watching that, and I think sometimes she thinks I overcomplicate it by doing the bubbles and by doing the other stuff. Because for her, she just likes watching me perform magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she gets it.
The masses love the bubbles, though. You can't go wrong with that.
Right? And I think the problem is magic on social media is hard. It's hard, because we all see these tricks. They go, oh yeah, this trick would be perfect for social media. We see it, and the next thing you know, all these big accounts are doing exactly the same trick, and you've got every magician who's on the internet doing exactly the same trick, the same style of performance, the same style, and yet they're doing well with it. But I would literally have to. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Knowing that someone else had already done that style, it would destroy me mentally.
Yeah.
I would rather do bubble tricks and obscure weird things with my body than do something that everyone else has done. Don't get me wrong, Rate the Magic's a cool idea. It is a great idea. I love Rate the Magic. I enjoy watching them if they come up on my For You page. But what that tells me is that can just be anyone. It doesn't have to be anyone special. It doesn't have to be anyone unique. That could just be the person that got to the number first. That sounds harsh, but you could literally replace that with a person on the street, you know? That's how I feel. Maybe I'm being harsh, and I apologize. Don't get me wrong. Those magicians that do it are good magicians, but at the same time, I just think I don't want to do that. So No.
Well, and yeah, you got to think
I,
in that mentality. It's a very much minimal investment for maximum output. You know, gimmicks are conducive to social media magic because they're hard to do wrong. They're easy to get a lot of visual impact from.
yeah.
And if you have to re-record it 15 times and it only takes you 30 seconds each time, it's not the end of the world. Where if you're trying to build your own custom gimmick that really could be like an earth-shattering thing, it's going to take so much time and investment. People aren't looking for that these days, which is a shame. But I'll agree. Like if I see one more person pull a giant straw out of a brown bag, I'm deleting TikTok. So
Well, I use that in my show all the time. You know, I love doing it. Like especially
oh,
when
man.
like I was at a magician's wedding, and I'm like, sorry, let me find my cards, and I start pulling out the straw, and I pull out another one. I'm like, sorry, and I just do it as a throwaway, and I don't even make a big deal of it.
And that's what it is, though. And like that's where like that's got to be the fun of it, though. But I think like it's funny because you can tell when a gimmick just came out. Because, like you said, every big Magic account all of a sudden is doing the same exact gimmick within the same like 3-week period, and you're like, "Oh, this gimmick must have just come out," and they just sent out all their marketing material. Like, that's what gets me on it.
And there's nothing wrong. I love gimmicks. I think gimmicks
Yeah.
are very important thing in Magic. I've always stand by what Tommy Wonder does: sleight of hand, misdirection, gimmicks. You combine all three of those together, you have a devastating routine. When you rely on one, I don't think it's as strong. When you combine all the combinations together, you can have amazing Magic. But I think my issue isn't really more for the gimmicks, because the gimmicks are great. Are you guys here? Are we frozen?
No, we're
Nope.
good. We're good.
Oh, it's just that you were so still.
Yeah.
we're intently listening.
Yeah, we're
I'm like, okay, they're there. They're there. It's gonna I just think that the problem is it isn't the trick I have an issue with. It's just I feel like we're going to end up boxing ourselves into like what people. I don't know. I think it's complicated because I have a love-hate relationship with social media magic. I never understood it before it, and now I'm a social media person, which I find oddly weird because I'm the last person that I would think that would ever be on the internet. But at the same time, I'm kind of proud because I'm older. I am older. Like this is Gen Z. I'm not 18. I'm not 20. I'm nearly 40 years old.
You're young, bro.
But
I love when people come on here and they're like, "I'm old," and I'm like, "How old are you?" They're like 38. Like,
Steve's old. That's all right. That's why we keep him around.
No, I mean I know it's not old really, but what I mean is in social media, like
Yeah.
I'm a bald-headed man with a beard. You know, I should like it's not easier. If you're a good-looking guy with hair and an accent and you're 19 and you're doing that, you can appeal to more people.
right.
You know, you got to think. You know, and I don't know where I'm going with this. I just think that I sometimes wonder if I'm on the right path with social media. I mean, so I just got on Chinese YouTube. It's called Bilibili.
All
I just signed a deal for a social media company to manage me, and I had to get approved. Yeah, which is amazing. And
That's really cool.
they did my first video 3 days ago, and it's on 1 million, which is amazing. It's I say 1 million. It's got 23,000 to go, so it's nearly 1 million. I'll
Nice.
say nearly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which is crazy. And it's got me 60,000 followers in like 2 days, which has been insane.
That's insane. That's awesome, though.
But I still wonder, like, what happens if I run out of stuff? Will I sell out? Like, one of the things I always worry about is you have to come up with your new idea, and like once I have done bits of magic. I have done things that have been marketed on my channel. I'm not gonna lie, I've done a few bits. So I always worry about magic in social media, but I also think that it is so important to be on social media. I think it's made me relevant. It's also, I could talk about all the bad things, but I can talk all about the good things. It has made me more creative than I've ever been in my whole life. In this last year and a half, I would say that I've done more different things, more interesting things in magic, more things with art than I did my entire career. And while it's not commercially viable for other people, like say some of my early work is very commercial for magicians, while it's not commercial, I think it's some of the most interesting things I've done. At the same time, I've also learned that on the internet you can just be yourself. You don't have to like wear a suit. You don't have to put on a fake thing. You can just be who you are. And if people like you, they like you. And if they don't, they don't. You know.
Yeah.
I've learned that having a wonky eye, which I've always been fairly self-conscious for, is actually a huge asset on the internet. And especially when I make it move on the live, suddenly the live spikes and everyone's like, I want to look like you. So I've realized that I accept who I am, like, you know, in a weird way. So it has been a weird journey. But I will say that when I hit the million, I lost the drive to be as push like I was pushing. I don't know why, but
You got to come up with that next goal
I found it
milestone, you
harder.
know?
5 mil, man. You
Yeah,
gotta hit
5
the
mil,
5
10 mil. You got to hit the next one. That's what it is.
Yeah, but I don't know if I like do you know what my goal was? Do you know what my goal on social media was?
What was
My
your
goal was
original goal?
10,000 by this time next year ish.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right, so
now
you
you gotta
crushed
make
that.
another goal, man. Make a different one.
Yeah. I never had when I think about it in terms of social media, I've never really had like, oh, and then I went, oh, I'll aim for 20,000. Like I've always went slow. I never like went, I'm gonna hit a million. I mean, I always think that I was very lucky. I mean, I got in the right time. I think I did the right stuff. I built the right fan base with the foundation. I think I did a lot of things right at the beginning. I think I would struggle now with everything going back to normal. I think if you were going to grow on social media, but then I say that to myself. I've literally just joined another platform and I'm 60,000 on that. And I've gone up ridiculous on Instagram in the last few days. So maybe maybe there is growth there. I don't know. I don't know.
Dude,
I don't know what I'm
definitely
saying.
is. There definitely is. You have there's many places you can go. You know, you just keep climbing and just keep doing what you're doing, you know, and there's more opportunities that will open up for you.
And use it to create opportunities that have always kind of interested you or things that you think would be fun to try. That's the cool thing about it is now that you've kind of reached this one milestone, you know, have the capability to build relationships that are going to allow you to go in different directions that may not necessarily be social media related, but are driven by that social media presence.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just need to like I think the thing I enjoy the most about TikTok is I love live performing on there. I do a live performance most nights, I do half an hour, and I love it because I don't care if anyone gives me gifts. I don't care if I make any money. I just go and be a raw performer. I've created some of the best bubble tricks I've come up with have been on that live. Some of the crazy stuff like the butterfly trick I created, which I'm so proud of. I created that on a live. That all came from a combination of just experimenting, and I feel like that's been really good for me. But I've also enjoyed going back to performing again. Like I love performing today so much. And yesterday I did a wedding, and I really enjoyed that as well, just performing. So I think I just enjoy both, but I feel like now I'm kind of in. I feel like I'm one of those, like a day walker. I walk in the world of social media and the world of performing. Like, and I I do think that maybe I didn't think I was better than everyone else, but I did feel like as a professional performer for such a long time, I thought I was doing it on social media because I didn't understand how I could transition, how I could do it. And in the end, I didn't try transition. I just did the things I enjoyed, and that seemed to work.
Yeah, so, I mean that's the best way to do it. The cool thing is you could. Have you ever tried Omegle?
No, because my friend told me that he went on Omegle once, and some guy flashed him, and I don't know.
So
the
platform itself has actually implemented hashtags where you can go into specific categories now built around the idea of connecting with people who want to run into TikTok creators or creators who want to collab with each other within it, so you can avoid all of the stray dicks that you see. So they've worked to build the platform and make it a little more social media friendly. But yeah, if you go on like straight up like regular Omegle, it's a minefield.
Yeah.
I think
that's part of the act, though.
That's part of the act.
That's part of the act. I think that makes it more like, especially if you do it like live, but well, not live, so to speak, but you actually put that in your video, but blur it out, obviously, and just you like. And I talked about it this time, but there's there's this pianist who goes on Omegle, and basically he had one of his friends come on as a guest, and it's a female pianist, and basically when guys would come up and they'd be doing their thing, she would play like video game music like Mario Brothers or like just cartoon songs, so that and they'd always end up skipping. So their thing was to try to get them to skip rather than you skipping. So funny.
Maybe I should give it a go. I
think it'd be fun.
He was on Omegle and he was filming himself being on Omegle, and every time he'd have a piece of paper and they go, nope, 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 and I was like waiting for him to mess up, like so he's gonna get banned.
It's funny. I think you could just work that in the act somehow, and it'd be hilarious.
You just have like a counter in the top screen that you don't even acknowledge. That every time you see a penis, it just goes up by 1.
Yeah.
That would be funny. I mean, I just don't know if I could do it. I don't know.
You know what you could do? You could buy these little the little rubber penis things, and you could just keep regurgitating them. You could one could come on camera and you could be like, oh,
pops out of your nose.
I do love the idea of like if someone was doing it and you just like stuck a blow up doll there to watch them.
If you what?
Or something stupid like that. Maybe that's funny. In my head.
I missed it. I missed it.
Don't worry.
Broke up.
Ignore
What'd
that.
you say?
Ignore that. No, that was good. I'm not going to say it yet. That was just terrible suggestion.
I heard something about a blow up doll, so.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
I was just basically saying you could sit a real doll there. Not have one, by the way. If you wanted to freak people out, I don't know. Wow, I'm going to go with the real doll. I don't know. I have no idea. Let's not talk about Omegle. I'm not going to do it.
You should do it. It'd be funny.
I mean, listen, never say never. You don't know where you're going to end up if creativity, dips a little bit. You might need to go on Omegle for some motivation. But I think that's the interesting thing about creativity, though, is like, yeah, there's going to be dry patches here and there, but like, it seems like you've really come up with ways that you didn't intend to be viral aspects. You were just like, hey, this sounds like a fun time. Let me play around with it. And I'm sure those ideas are going to keep coming to you. I think one of the biggest things for people who are just, generators of ideas, and I know a lot of magicians who do this, you just keep a notebook with you like all the time, because you never know when something is going to like strike as an idea, and it may turn out to be a terrible idea, but you just write it down and then you figure it out another time. And then you have this whole like notebook full of ideas, so that ultimately what ends up happening is when you run out of, when you start feeling like you're not creative, you run through your notebook and you say, oh yeah, that's a dope idea. Let me try that now, That way you have like a backlog almost.
Yeah.
It kind of happened because when I started on TikTok first, I did mostly like a mix of magic and bubbles. And one of the things I did was the Superhuman series. And I tried it. I did 2 episodes and it bombed. No one was interested. So I built up my core relationship with my audience. And I got to 77,000. I thought, I need to start again. And I thought, well, why don't I try that again? And I did this whole thing and I found this music. And I wasn't expecting it to go viral like it did. But that one video took me from 77,000 to 208,000 in 24 hours. It blew up my account. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think also what's really cool is if I have in the room, my eye changes a different color. I don't know why, but my left eye, because if it reflects light in a different way. So if I get the lighting right, it can actually appear like my eyes glow. So in that video, I didn't do it on purpose because I didn't know about it. But in that video, my eye is actually literally glowing white as well. And I'm talking about these superhuman abilities. And I think the music, there was just something that day that worked.
That's really cool.
It went crazy viral. It was a million views in 2 hours. It was 3 million in 4 hours. It was just, it petered out at 7 million, but which was, for me, that was the biggest video I ever had at that time.
That's intense.
And then I was able to, I kept doing superhuman abilities on the back of it, but towards the end, I had to kind of stop doing it because the hate comments I got from like series 2, series 3, because obviously I'm mixing more magic with it. It was less about my actual real abilities, but I wanted to keep the series going because people really liked it. But it was only ever intended to be 3 episodes, and it went like I did 4 seasons of it on TikTok, like, you know, like 40 episodes.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
But it helped my account a lot, and that's the only time I've done magic really on the account was during those bits really mixed with real stuff. So and then I went to Bubbles, and no one wanted to watch Bubbles, and then I came across the Immortal Bubble series, which was just a joke idea about Bubble that got hot. And I actually filmed it as a tutorial to teach people cool things Bubbles can do. I posted the video. It tanked at like 3,000, which was really bad for me because I was used to getting like 50,000, 100,000 like all the time on everything. I couldn't go wrong at that point. And it tanked. It tanked so hard. But I was so annoyed at everyone that I made this video, and I just basically shortened the 30-second video to 10 seconds. I did this whole thing about Bubbles being immortal. Tell them it's a joke, but I make it part of the thing. I put it up, and that did 1 million in an hour. Like, and it went crazy viral, and it was just like, Bubbles aren't immortal. Bubbles aren't immortal. Bubbles aren't immortal. So I thought, you know what? I should just do another episode of this and see what happens. And it was just 2 million. I was like, okay, Bubbles aren't immortal. I'll do another episode. Bubbles aren't immortal. And I literally went, I thought, I got to episode 6, and the views started going down. I went, okay, this is done. I'll do one more. And it did all right. It did good. But I was like, I'm going to go and chill out for a few days, and I might come back. And I went, I'll do another one. And I did that one where I drop a rock in a bubble, and it went to 16 million views.
So crazy.
16 million. Within 3 days, it was on 16 million. Like, I think on 3 days, it was like 13 million, and then it's peaked to 16 million since. But it went crazy viral. Crazy viral.
It's so weird. It's like it all depends on, you know, one day you put up a video and you might not get the same views. You can put up the same damn video 3 days later, and obviously, you know, it's so crazy.
I did that with the Leaning Tower of Pisa one. I put it up 4 times, it bombed, and then I put it up another time, and that was a 1.3 million, and it didn't get past 10,000. So, but it's done 1.5 on Instagram. Sorry, I hope I'm not being crass talking about numbers.
No, you're good. It's interesting to see behind it all, because I think a lot of people don't realize like how that progression actually goes and what that kind of looks like, and what the impact can be when you do, especially get involved with the numbers, because it does become kind of that driving metric, like you mentioned earlier. You know, the nice thing with the Instagram, like you said, is you don't worry about the views or the likes. You worry about, you know, just putting out content that you enjoy.
Yeah, and I think that I've definitely decided now that go forward, my Instagram is going to be different from my TikTok. Instagram is just going to be a place of experimentation. Don't get me wrong, I will still be experimenting on TikTok, but I think I've kind of pushed myself as a guy that does weird stuff on TikTok with his body and does these weird bold things. But on Instagram, I've kind of shaped myself as an arty kind of person, an artist.
Yeah.
I even call myself an artist rather than a performer, because I feel like I am building shapes out of things. I am trying to make new things with bowls, and I feel like that's got me a whole different audience, really. So I feel like I am being adventurous in that sense with it. And then with TikTok, I guess I just kind of figure it out. To be honest, they're all merged into one, because what I get from one, I'll get from the other. And then with the one I'm doing with the agency, they're kind of just, I don't get it. They just choose what they want. So they just choose it and re-edit it. So
interesting.
You know,
so
they know what they're doing.
Pick out what they want, and they do whatever.
Yeah, and then basically what's going to happen is, because I'm really on board with this, and I told them how pleased, because they were really pleased, because their plan was to get me to 100,000 followers within 2 months. So the fact, what happened there?
Oh.
Hello?
Yep, we're back.
Gotcha.
We're back. There we go.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, it was a little bit choppy for a bit there, but I think we're back.
Was that my internet?
Might have been, yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
No worries.
It sucks sometimes, so I apologize. Like, I like when you read your list, it says good internet. I'm like, I do have good internet, but it occasionally can just be crazy. Where was I? I can't remember.
Yeah, talking about the social media management and what they have to do.
Thing, and they know what they're doing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, they're just doing their own thing. I mean, they're really pleased. They were like really pleased because obviously the plan is they make money from it. So
Right.
we'll see what happens. I mean, I have a gut feeling that if it carries on this level, it'll be all right. But I think the thing is, they're not that bothered by the bubbles, the social media man.
Uh-oh.
Ah,
We
we
lost
got a
them.
quick, yeah, we got a quick loss there. That's fine. We'll be back in a few moments, I'm sure, with Kieron back to talk more. I'm interested to hear about this though, because it really is interesting to hear about that progression from a social media personality who's doing your own thing and managing all that to kind of handing it off to a manager, you know?
Yeah, especially it's funny because it not only is it a manager, because usually a management works for you,
Yeah.
but it sounds like he kind of works for them in a way.
Or it's kind of a partnership almost.
Yeah, but they tell him what they want, which that's not normally how management, like a manager, works. Usually the artist says, "This is what I want you to do for me."
Yeah.
And the
Well,
management will
and you gotta
offer.
figure that, dude, that you're thinking though a lot of that is going to be music industry versus social media industry. If you're looking at a new platform where you're the content, yep, here we go. We are. I'm going to pull him in, but it's going to take him. There we go.
Yay! I changed my name. I changed my name to Kieron Johnson this time rather than Kieron the Mighty. I went, I'll have to change your name.
Much
so,
better.
So it's, and you were mentioning though, kind of the management companies telling you kind of directing you on what they think is going to really be as impactful as possible on the platform, right?
Yeah, and they like the weird stuff. They're like, do more weird stuff. I'm like, okay, there's only so much weird stuff I can do. But I will see what happens with it. But they've been really cool because I've been proper excited by it. Because I think normally what they do is I ask a lot of questions, and because one of my best friends is a lawyer in China. He's from Malaysia. He was able to do the contract, so they're not used to someone sending back the contract in Mandarin. They're like, oh, how did you do this? Oh, my mate's a lawyer, so I was able to negotiate. But so I think I gave them a hard time with what I wanted. But at the same time, I wanted to be involved in the process, and they said to me, normally what happens is they just look after the creator. The creator gets the money, and then they kind of chat. But I've said, look, I'm happy to do whatever it takes because I know that because I've been to China and I've performed there, and I know that if you can get in there, it's seriously really good. Like it can lead to really good opportunities and stuff because it's a big country. There's lots of stage stuff. They love magic. They love weird stuff. So
Yeah.
and also part of me is just really competitive. I want to like do the best. It's like so I'm willing to like put in the time. So I don't think they were used to someone being so obsessed about numbers and like how's it going, what can I do to improve it, what do I want to make it. So I think they're quite pleased with it.
That's awesome.
But I think they also have a different idea from what I do. But that's good as well because obviously I've never really had a team with it, so it'll be really interesting to see what their thoughts are on it and how that shapes everything in the future. Really, so I'm quite excited by it.
It's definitely a good learning experience for you because ultimately you get to kind of pick up some of the subtleties that may play better in that market versus TikTok and other markets. And as you're trying to build your social media presence across different platforms, you can take the positives and negatives and try them out in different places as well.
Yeah, I probably should, to be honest, be putting all this energy into getting on YouTube now with YouTube Shorts. I should have probably been on it months ago, but I always like to try and focus on one thing, do that well, rather than what I also don't want to do is I don't want to do one platform and then stick all the same videos on another platform and put videos on another platform. I want them to look different because if, say, someone from my family from there goes, they go, oh, he just does the same thing. I want it to be a different experience. And I think that's what I'm realizing. While I have posted some of the same stuff on TikTok and Instagram, and I think recently now my new direction is going to be, I'm going to try and do different stuff for that, And because I'm under less pressure on Instagram, I kind of can just have more fun with it.
Right.
In the sense that, and I think that's going to work well. And then hopefully I can push it into thing. Because the one thing on TikTok is I can't do anything with fire or anything crazy. But on Instagram, there's no rules on that. So I've been able to start, like, I think that's exciting because I really want to start mixing fire and the bubbles more and more because there's some really cool stuff you can do. And I've never really developed it because obviously TikTok, every time I stuck anything like that, they would it would go viral, and then 2 weeks later, for no reason, they would take it down and ban me for 3 days for breaking the community guidelines,
Crazy.
even though the
Yeah.
video's already gone viral. Yeah, and it can happen. It's just someone. So this tells you how crazy TikTok is on things. There's a video of me skateboarding with an umbrella, and bubbles are coming out of the umbrella, and I'm skateboarding. I'm not even skateboarding very fast. I'm just skateboarding. It's all in slow motion, and it's got warning: this is a dangerous act performed by professionals. I'm on a skateboard with an umbrella and bubbles. No one's around me. It's on a straight flat. I'm barely moving. I'm just coasting.
Oh my
But then
god.
it goes, do not attempt this. I'm like, how's anyone going to attempt it? First of all, they have to have an umbrella with holes. They've got a bubble solution. They've got to be able to skateboard. I can probably safely say I'm the first person in the world to skateboard with an umbrella with holes in it and do bubbles at the same time. I can probably, hand on the heart, say, because if there is another person in this planet that has skateboarded with an umbrella, with holes in it, with bubbles, then I go.
They need to reach out to you.
They
need to reach out to you guys so you can like get together and do a competition or something.
Oh, that would be funny. Like, I mean, I don't even do anything dangerous, but that tells you. I mean, this tells you how silly the app is. I've got bubble videos early on, very much at the beginning. They've got COVID warnings on.
Jeez.
I'm in my house blowing a bubble, but because it offended someone, that TikTok's weird like that. Yeah. Well, Instagram, I get the sense that as long as I'm not naked or being too weird, I can probably do what I want.
As long as you don't show your
as long as I'm not doing Omegle.
Yeah,
as long as I'm not
Instagram,
Omegle.
honestly, you could even do Omegle, just, blip things out with emojis, you'd be fine. Like, I think Instagram is pretty Wild West still with some of their guidelines, as long as it's not like egregiously a problem. But yeah, TikTok, I think, it was interesting. We were talking to another magician who also does TikTok a while ago, but he's more in the gaming space now. And he was saying one of his sponsors actually got banned from TikTok because they sold like miniature weapons. And so all of the accounts that they were sponsoring, which were using these little miniature weapons, were getting all their videos flagged immediately. And it's because, you're using like weapons or showing potential, weapons. And the things are like this big.
Is that Nick?
Yeah, it's like they're clearly not like real weapons. Like, it's not like people fly, waving a Glock 19 around or something. Like, you got nothing to worry about. But like, we've heard that TikTok can be really, really kind of flaky with that kind of stuff, but also really strict when you wouldn't expect it.
It's like, I saw a guy with a gun, and he had Charlie D'Amelio was dancing and having fun, and he was pretending to kill her.
Jesus.
I flagged that with my friends, and they said does not break community guidelines. Yeah, a video of me pretending to take my eye out, which is clearly a trick, and putting it back, got flagged and has a warning on it still, and it got taken down for 3 days while it was going viral, and then they put it back. I have a video where I build a tower of bubbles. They took it down for some weird offense. It's a tower of bubbles, and I was like, I don't get it. Yeah, like I saw a guy punch a dog, and then kill the dog. And I reported it. It does not break guidelines.
That's
how does that not break guidelines? It's weird.
That breaks federal law. How does it not break a guideline?
Yeah,
that's literally a federal crime.
Like, I had my live suspended for 3 months because they said I was doing bubble art. They said it was illegal behavior.
Jesus,
I feel like that's just a generated mistake, basically.
It happened twice, but now I have a person that looks after me. But yeah, I still sometimes get warnings up for no reason. I think they just have a lot of trolling issues on the lives on TikTok because they're not manned by people. You see, they're manned by bots. So there isn't anyone to authenticate. So I think if TikTok, personally, they want to become a live streaming feature, that's what they want to do. They want to compete with Twitch. They need to have people manning the things like Twitch does.
Yeah, because I've seen it too. Like, you're on a live and one person reports you for anything, they immediately shut down the live, and they're basically, their mentality is, we'll figure it out later, but better to play it safe. And that's not the right mentality. And really, what they should be doing is, if people are falsely reporting all the time, if their reports get turned over like 5, 6, 7 times, they should ban that person.
Yeah, I agree.
But they don't, because it's weird.
I know, which is it's crazy.
I feel really bad, but I need the toilet, so I'm just going to take my earphones out. It's weird. That's why I can drink water spout.
Do you think
that?
that?
I'll be... Dude, I'm telling you.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Hey, listen,
that's at least he didn't bring us with him.
That would have been interesting. Would have heard a whole different water spout for sure. But oh my god, dude. No, it's so interesting to see how these like young platforms though still struggle to figure out how to deal with like trolling and what is safe versus unsafe behavior and all that kind of stuff. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if they can't figure that out, they're not going to survive long term because people are just going to get fed up with the platform. And the creators are the ones who are going to get fed up. The people who are trolling, they'll be there forever. They'll just move to another platform. But if the creators stop making content, that's when the platform dies.
Yeah, and I think it's really important. I mean, they make so much money. They can hire definitely a team of actual humans to monitor that stuff.
At some point, I'm sure they will, and I think they probably do it as like a first level thing where first level is automated, second level is the person review, but like that's too late at that point.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think some videos, obviously, but it doesn't it happens, less often, is the ones that are dangerous, where you have your suicides and people that really actually get hurt on these platforms. Those are the ones that I think they're trying to stay away from, which is why they just cancel it first and ask questions later, but definitely not the right way to go.
No, especially when it impacts. Well, I mean, you think about it, there's creators out there who do this for a living now. You're now impacting someone's earning capability by taking off a video that's going viral.
Just by a troll.
Yeah. It happens. It happens. I mean, the worst was I like having my live banned for 3 months was a nightmare because obviously I grow really well on my live. So generally most lives I do anything between 300 to 1,000 followers. I gain every live. So when I was at Christmas, I was gaining like crazy. Like I probably would have hit 1 million a lot quicker, but because I lost my ability to go live, and then I got it back, then I lost it again a month later. I luckily one of my friends knew a lady, and she sorted it out, and it was actually a really good thing in the end because what it did is it made me have to dig deep and push to make great content. Because I wasn't getting the boost from the live, so I had to work so hard. So when I did get my live back, I still had that ethos of working hard. So once I had the live and the hard work, that 2 months I went from 400,000 to 900,000 because I just worked my butt off. It also made me join the Creators Fund when they banned me the second time. I thought, well, if I'm gonna get banned, I might as well just join it. Like I might as well try and get. And that was a smart move as well because before I hadn't joined because I heard all these horror stories, but actually it's not true. No. Anyone that says that their views are impact or are stupid, it doesn't impact anything. In fact, anything, it helped me. I would say. That's my viewpoint on that. I think. And now I'm grateful because obviously, even though the world's gone back to normal, I am getting work, but I'm not as busy as I was. So having the social media income is such a bonus.
Right. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So,
How are things over there? With the whole COVID.
It's kind of going back to normal, but it's kind of not. Like it's difficult. I think it's like every country. People are still sick. People, it's difficult. We're doing all right. I think we're very lucky because we get our healthcare for free. We get our shots for free. So I feel like I was looked after by my government as well. I can't speak for other people in England, but I can speak for myself and what I can say. When I say England, I say Britain. I can speak for myself, and what I can say is I was really satisfied with the care that I had.
Right.
They paid my wages the entire time. I would have struggled if I hadn't had that support, and I have friends that would have struggled as well. And it was, it was good because I think in America you got what was it, $1,400? That was it.
I think it was 1,600, and there were multiple. They did it maybe 3 or 4 times depending on your income and everything. But yeah, it was a very limited amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they did 8% here of what you earn.
Crazy.
So they get and they did it 3 or 4 times as well. but it was
Yeah.
80% every time. I think
That's
maybe one
amazing.
time it was a little bit lower. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really good. So they, and then they did furlough. It was a difficult time, but the other thing is I don't think we like to think of ourselves as a small country, but compared to America, we're very small.
Right.
Yeah.
You measure miles like we measure history.
Yeah, we lack, and what we have make up for in miles, we lack in history. It's not an old country here, at least in the form it is now.
Yeah.
So, but
You guys think. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just say, like, to me, 100 miles, 200 miles seems like far. To you, that's like nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's like we'll drive that in a day sometimes, easy.
Sometimes, all the time. And
I mean, not in I'm not in California, so for Steve, 100 miles in a day is no big deal because they're so desolate and isolated from everything.
Oh, yeah, 100 miles in a day, dude. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can travel my country in an entire day. Like, you could drive from one end and do it in about 12 hours. So, but then
that's not even the northern East Coast to the southern East Coast. So like from where I'm at in New Jersey, so like right below New York City, if I drove 12 hours from here, I'd make it to about South Carolina. So I wouldn't even make it to Florida, which is the southernmost point. Like I'd make it like 2/3 of the way down the coast.
Wow. Yeah, I think
if you went from Maine to Florida, that's like
it's a long one. Yeah, it's like 30 hours, something like that. Maybe less, maybe like 20 and change. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
My house is older than your country.
Probably. That's insane.
The house I grew up in was a house from the 14th century, a fisherman house.
Oh wow, yeah. So definitely got us beat by a long way. That's crazy, man. And that's where it's always interesting. Like for me, like for us to go to Europe, it just seems so much more rich in that history versus the U.S., which is like, all right, yeah, cool. Like just seeing the architecture in cities in Europe versus the U.S. It's like, yeah, like you go to New York City and like buildings are cool and there's history to it, but the oldest building there isn't much older than like 18 something. And like they all are very similar in style. Most of it's newer kind of skyscrapers and things like that. But you go to like, even London, there's buildings there that are still hundreds of years old at this point. So it's crazy. And then yeah, I mean, every time they ask me, it's funny. So the company I work for has an office in London, and they just were, this is maybe like 2-3 years ago now, they were building a new headquarters in London. And while excavating for the foundation, they discovered a Roman temple. And so it halted all construction. And so as part of the plan for them to actually be able to continue building this building, they had to turn part of the building into a museum. I think it was a Temple of Mithras. They had to turn it into a museum that's open to the public, and then they were allowed to build the rest of their building. So it was crazy.
I feel like that's Britain's thing all the time. Like, oh, we found another Roman road.
Like, you kick a stone and there's some Roman coins on the ground. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, in York that happens all the time. I think like they go, oh, we just found another thing. But yeah, that does feel very British, really, to be honest. But we're very lucky, as I said. But yeah, it's just it's a weird time, isn't it? I was more concerned for my daughter because my daughter had only just come off. She was on support for her breathing for the first 4 or 5 months of her life, and obviously then COVID happened, and she just come off it. So because it's a respiratory thing, you're panicking all the time. So we lived like hermits. We did not leave the house. We went in. Luckily we had a garden. Thank goodness. I would walk the dog at night when no one else was around. And I didn't see another human being, like personally, for months. And I think we took it in turns because I think my wife would leave the house in the morning with the dog. I would do the evening, and that was it. I feel bad. The kids didn't leave. They went into the garden, and luckily it was sunny. Luckily there was like lots of good weather. But yeah, we for months no one left the area of the house. It was crazy. I mean, the furthest I went was around the corner. I was able to play the best April Fool's joke ever on my father, which was hilarious.
What was it?
Because it was just the lockdown was just happening around April, It was like March, April. It was happening. And years ago, my dad, when I was 10 years old, he told me that the Spice Girls were going to be in the shop, and he made me walk up to an assistant and ask where the Spice Girls were, and then he just stood there and laughed, and then me and my brother cried, and he always jokes about it, but it was like a traumatic experience for me, and it's this one thing he holds on to, like his victory. And I remember at the time he had to give us loads of money just to calm us down. And like, so he's always kind of had this victory, and I've always wanted to get back. I mean, my brother planned different things for years, and it's never happened. And I thought this is going to be the year. So I phoned him up from my phone, but I put he won't open it in the private numbers. So I put it as a private number, and I'm ringing, and he constantly won't and I eventually leave this message like, Dad, I'm in jail. The police have picked me up. I bumped into a friend, and I started doing magic, and then the policeman came, and then it kind of got out of hand, and I handcuffed, and I made like this whole thing. And I left loads of messages. Like, they got one more phone call. I can't get a hold of Katie. Phone Katie. So he starts like nothing happens for about 2 hours, and it gets to about 11:30. And suddenly, my wife starts getting these phone calls, and I'm like, no, ignore it. Like, I said, you have to answer and pretend. She went, I can't do it. She felt really guilty about the whole thing. And so they started texting her, and then she's texting back and went, oh no, I'm gonna ring the police now. Which police station it is? And my dad's like, I'll find out. And anyway, Katie made me ring him up before midday to let him know. And he's like, I was just ringing all the police stations last week. I was like, my mum was in tears of laughter. I went, that's for Spice Girls. And my mum's in tears. She's crying because my mum was like, no, I'm going to bring these police people back, and explaining that it was a mistake. He's trying to find out where I could be held. And then he's like, and then he's trying to go, it doesn't count. It's 1 minute past 12. It doesn't count.
That's
and
funny.
He's like, I wasn't fooled. And like, literally, he hung the phone down because I was in tears. But it was really funny because when me and my brother got together, like eventually when we were allowed to meet, I like brought it up, and everyone was just in tears of laughter. And he's like, I'll get you back.
That's great.
But he really believed that I was stupid enough to do magic to someone on the street and get into altercation. He said, my mom said to him, are you sure that doesn't sound like Kieron would get into a fight with a policeman? And then he goes, no, he has. He's stupid. He's done magic and he's got a hand. So he believed that it happened. And she's like, this doesn't sound like him. And she's like, no, we need to get him out of jail. So he thought it was just like the best joke ever. I don't know if that sounds cruel now I've said it out loud, but
that's funny.
No, that's funny. That was good payback.
I think it would have been cruel if you made him come down there and bail you out or something.
Yeah.
That would have been cruel.
Like, make him actually go to all the police stations. That would have been mean, but
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was the best though. It was the best because my mum, she found it. She was funny. But like, I feel like it's like brought us close to that joke because I've ever since then I felt like I can riff my dad a bit more, like, and he's taking the joke actually because he bet on Italy against the World Cup, and England got to the final. And when I say bet on it, he was in a sweepstake where he had drawn Italy, so he hadn't chosen it, but it had been chosen for him. So and then obviously they're in the final, and I'm like, I was making jokes about who's he rooting for? Is he rooting to win the money or rooting for England? So when we were having dinner, when I was telling the story, making everyone laugh, I was like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, Dad, when you went to the collection money, were you like, it's me, Stephen Johnson, I'm from Italy, I'm Italian?" Just winding him up. But anyway, I don't know why I'm going on. I think my brother said it was the best like meal he's ever had because it's hard to make my dad like embarrassed. He's like the most stoic person you've ever met.
Yeah.
So whether like, not that we're trying to make him embarrassed, but like the revenge, it was just like my brother felt like the revenge, he was in on it. Like, you have to understand that literally my entire life he has retold this Spice Girl story. Whenever it's
one of these days you have to like somehow do magic for one of the Spice Girls and get pictures taken with it and send it to him.
You know what? I have actually done magic for one of the Spice Girls.
Nice.
Baby Spice at a wedding, but it would have been crass to take pictures. But that's a funny story. There was another celebrity, I won't name them, and I didn't know who they were, but they were on TV, and loads of people would get photos with him because of other guests. There was some young girls that were a fan of him, but I as a magician, I'm not going to ask for photos of people, because I'm there to work, not get pictures. And one of the reasons I got this gig was because I had been at another celebrity party and I hadn't pestered anyone. And one of the guys liked that. And I won't, not that I do millions of them, but if I do them, I don't know who anyone is. I don't treat anyone any differently.
Yeah.
But I remember he said, "Oh, would you like a photo?" And I'm like, "Wow, cool. Yeah, I can do a photo." Like he said, "Oh, can I get a photo with you?" So he asked me, "Can I get a photo with you?" I went, "Yeah, that's a bit weird." But he went, "Can I use your phone?" So he made me take a photo with him with my phone.
That's funny. Who was it?
I'm like, a guy from The Script. Nice guy.
Oh, dude, I love The Script.
Yeah.
I absolutely love, dude, I'm not going to lie. I would love to see them live. They put on a great show.
Yeah. So it was, but he was really nice. We never sees this. I won't name which one it was. If you go to my Instagram, that isn't a plug, by the way, and you go through the photos, you can find the photo. I used that photo. Might as well, right? Might as well.
That being said, I'll plug it here. Go check out Kieron's Instagram. The link's down in the description below, because why wouldn't you want to check it out? Anyone who's watching at this point, if you have not checked out his TikTok or his Instagram yet, you're definitely missing out. Honestly, I can't get enough of your content. And talking to you today has just made me realize how much of it is just so true to your personality, though, I think, as well. I mean, I think the idea that the bubbles was a whim that's just taken off in such an interesting way is what you love to hear about social media these days, because it's really the dream story of, I tried something fun that I would enjoy and it went viral. Like, if it doesn't go viral, you still enjoyed it. And that's the fun part about it too,
Yeah, and I think where you can really see, if you watch all these videos, you can see me getting better as time goes on.
Yeah.
So really, as a magician, I don't have any progress of how I was doing. There's no videos of me, but on social media, you can see the progress. You can see from day one to now, like the techniques, the skill, the tools are built. You can see everything. Like, it's got better, more fluid. But you can see the videos. Because I've had to learn about light, and because one of the things I've always done now is I just use a very authentic, busy background. At first, I was like, always use the white wall, but now I show my kitchen, I show my clock, I show my freezer, because I'm thinking I don't want to. This is my life. I don't live in a blank wall world.
Yeah.
And if no one likes it, then I don't care. This is just my authentic self.
And I think that's what people like to see these days, though, is as much as people visually appreciate the high production value and the really intense kind of editing and all this perfection, seeing someone in their true form and in their true environment makes them much more connectable. It makes it feel like, you're just a regular person who's doing crazy stuff. And people enjoy that, I think, a lot more, because you create this, you don't create this pseudo celebrity status that separates you from the people watching your videos, which I think is important,
Well, I never did that as a magician. When I would be in the Ruskin and at Blackpool, I had people come up to me, and I not that I'm anyone famous, but people buy my stuff. And I never was any different to anyone. I would always give everyone my time. And even when I had a chance to go and hang out with Lance Burton not last year, the other Blackpool, I chose not to, because I wanted to go to the Ruskin. I wanted to be in the authentic. Don't get me wrong, it would have been amazing to go hang out, and I was really privileged to be invited. But at the same time, I'd rather be in the thick of it with the people that support my work, and I enjoy that. People asking questions, and and also I've been working all day as well, and I guess I'm still plugging in the material, and that's not why I like hanging out with Ruskin. What I like about the Ruskin is sometimes out of nowhere I will just start performing, and I will just do something off the cuff, and it will just be amazing, and I won't know how I did it. I just did it, and people will really enjoy it and talk about it, and that's what I enjoy about the Ruskin. I performed some of my best impromptu things there, and I just enjoy talking to all the people and meeting all the different magicians. And I love watching the magic as well. I think one of the things that's harder for me there is I used to be able to just sit in the corner quietly and watch magic and be one of the people just observing. But now if I go and do that, it can go quiet sometimes, or they stop talking. So I kind of try and blend into the background with a drink and pretend I'm not talking to anyone, just so I can watch all these young guys do these amazing tricks and these amazing skills and have a laugh. Because I still like love watching it. Because I remember being there myself, you know.
Right.
And it's been nice watching some of them over the last few years. Like they've gone on to publish stuff as well, and you get to see all these people grow. I think that's one of the things I enjoy about Magic Convention. You know, there's this. I've known Dan Rhodes since he was 13, and now he's this mega viral thing. And you know, he's worked hard. And while it's not the style I would have done, and while it's not my taste, you know, you can't deny how hard he's worked and stuff. You know, and that's great to see. And then there's another kid, Luke Ostlin. You know, he's doing real well.
He's killing it right now.
Luke looks amazing.
I've known both those kids since they were like that high, where they go, "Oh, Mr. Johnson, can we speak to you?" And that, like, you know, just to see them all grow and just that I think that it makes me feel old, but at the same time, it's been amazing to watch talent. Like, you know, I remember Tom Elderfield. He missed my lecture, and he was gutted, and he insisted to walk back to the train station, carry my case, and like just to chat to me. Now I'll probably like struggle to get next to him these days, but I remember I you know, he still give me the time, but I remember those moments, you know, even when Julius Dean was starting out, like he was like, "Oh, can you give me some advice on this? Can you know?" And now these guys are mega big, you know. So but it's nice to see these kids do well. It's, you know, whether you believe in what they're doing or you're anti against it, you can't deny that they work their asses off together. It's not social media. It's not easy, social media. And also one of the things I reckon we will see in the next 10 to 20 years is we will see like mental health treatment for social media of people that used to do it, because it is a lot. It can be a toll, especially when you get like bad comments. You know, Bella Porch. She said she only reads the first 15 minutes of her comments, and after that she stops reading them.
Oh,
Bella Porch. She's massive. Like she's a big star on TikTok.
Steve doesn't follow TikTok at all. She's a huge TikTok star, but she's also a musician now as well.
Yeah, and you know what? She deserves it. She was an army vet.
She hustles,
Yeah, she hustled, and she got lucky with the right video. She put effort into it, and she monetized it, and fair play to it. But like, you know, I really admire her because she's hardworking, and she is definitely a reminder that anyone can be successful on social media. I think, you know, Charlie D'Amelio, I don't know much about her. She's been on it since she was a kid, and she's built that platform up and hard work. But someone like Bella Porch, she was in the military. She was in her 20s. She was struggling financially with her rent, and she makes this video with the face with the M to the B song, and it goes mega viral, hundreds of millions. And before you know it, she's like the biggest star on TikTok. And I think that definitely is a rags to riches story of like proving that if you can get that one hit, and you can get, but at the same time, like, you know, it isn't just flick. You have to, you know, anyone can go viral. That's the best thing about TikTok. Anyone can go viral. Everyone has the ability to go viral, but can you maintain it? Can you keep going viral? Can you give the audience what they want? You know, one of the worst things I see, and I absolutely hate it, is where someone does a song and it's a really good song, and they get like 7-8 million views on it, and then the whole account becomes about this one time when they went viral. Like, you're not thinking about going viral again. I never think about going viral. I just think about making the videos I want to make, you know. And when I do the Immortal Bubble series, I just think about all the stupid stuff I want to do. I'm going to hit a bubble with a cactus. I'm going to throw a car in it. You know, what if I hit it with a hammer and I put one in my hand? Or what if I stick it in the microwave? What will happen if I stick a bubble in the microwave? And and that's it. It just comes from like, oh, what should I do now? Like, you know, like I stuck a Hoover in a bubble, and that's the thing I enjoy. Like, is coming up with these stupid things. The newest one was I stuck the bubble in a jar. Then I filmed it over a few hours, and the bubble still didn't pop. And it was like, even if I leave it, and time cannot kill this bubble. And I'm in it for a few seconds. I wave, I point to the clock, and I leave the room. I'm playing Minecraft while I'm filming a bubble.
That's funny. Now, do you use different types of kind of fluid for it? Because I know normal bubbles are Definitely not as
secret.
resilient as others.
I have a bubble formula on my social media, on Instagram and on TikTok, but the one I use is my own formula. So I used to use that one all the time, and I sometimes use that formula for some tricks. But generally now, I because of the type of stuff I'm doing, I need a really strong bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of the tricks I do is I light fire to the smoke. If the
Yeah.
bubble isn't strong, the whole thing blows up. So you have to have this real strong, like you can punch it and it's just really strong stuff.
crazy.
So yeah, but it's all about polymers. But even if you make a bubble that's really big, it doesn't mean it's going to be good for sculpting. It doesn't mean it's going to be good for fire. It just means it has the ability to stretch. It doesn't mean it's got the ability to be molded. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
so I can get this really good bubble juice where I can blow bubbles as big as this with my hands. The minute I start hitting it, trying to do bubble inside bubble with my hands, or I try pulling it apart, it pops. It can stretch, but it can't take a manipulation.
Impact.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Interesting. Yeah.
So
So
cool.
it's finding the right formula that does it. And different tricks need different formulas, depending on what you do. Sorry, my car's going to go on my phone, so I'm just going to put it in charge. There's a lot more to bubbles than I realized. I am planning on marketing my own bubble juice at some point because I've created my own.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Smart.
Create his own.
Wait.
Yeah, back.
Hey, we're back. Woo. All right, so you're gonna create your own bubble juice.
Well, I've already created it, so I'm
Nice. Market
but
it.
it's I don't know. I mean, I have to see if it lasts. So it's currently a month and a half old, and it seems to be working still. But I I think I want to get it to another few more weeks before. I mean, I've been testing it for months and months and months,
That's
and
cool.
it seems to be lasting. So I just wanted to get the formula right with it, and I've also just been speaking to like tradespeople because I don't know what the laws are on like mixing chemicals if you're going to sell them if kids. So I've got a lot to do.
Yeah.
So,
Dude,
so
but that's
they're telling me to
exciting though.
print
I
off
mean,
safety sheets and stuff, but nothing.
yeah.
There's nothing dangerous in them.
That's really interesting though too, to take that approach
We'll
and try
see.
and
I
figure
mean,
out a way you
my fr-
you can market it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I say this. I don't know if I'm going to do it. My friend thinks I'm crazy. Oh, I've made it. I've made the bubble solution, but he thinks I'm crazy selling it.
No.
He doesn't think
what?
anyone's going to buy it.
Dude,
Whatever.
no one thought your videos were
I
gonna
don't
go
know.
viral. You now have 1 million followers on
Right, is
TikTok.
it
I
the
think-
same guy
yeah.
that thought that
Yeah.
your bubble videos weren't going to
If
make
this is
it?
Connor again, tell him he's cut out.
Yeah.
No, Connor's actually a big believer in the bubble thing. Do you know
Good.
the guy that told me this is the same guy that told me I should post my bubble stuff on TikTok.
Okay.
So his wife, but it was his wife's idea. His wife said I should get on TikTok, and he passed the message on. But he's quite a good business person, so he knows a lot about business. So I think he thinks it could work. He knows how disorganized I am as a person, so he's worried that like my own disorganization will be the downfall.
Dude, you bring a project manager in, man, and they
Yeah,
can
you
head
try
that
and
up.
make it as automated as possible, as hands off as possible for you, that you can sell bubble formula whenever you need to, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I guess it's just working out the price of stuff. It's complicated because like this company sells concentrate for £27, but I don't think anyone's going to pay £27 for bubble formula. So so it's just figuring out. I would want to do it like for at least $10, but like
Yeah.
be the best bubble stuff on the market. But whether I can do that and make it, because obviously you've got to pay for packaging and stuff. I know nothing about business, so I'm like the worst business person. I'm good at making stuff. I can make the product, but the whole packaging and stuff is good. But now I've got the Instagram up. The Instagram gives you a shop, so I could have a shop on it. It's just whether anyone would be interested in buying it. I guess what I should do is do a test, maybe make a few bottles and see if anyone wants it.
Yeah, you can always gauge the market. That's the nice thing about it. You have created the market. Now you can see what they're interested in.
Yeah. I mean, and it'd be cool because I would want to teach some tricks and stuff, but I just need to check what the laws are because I think you never see any bubble solution taught for hand bubbles, and there's probably a reason. So I just need to figure out what what the laws are, what I can show, what I can do. So I think it's going to be a journey. But yeah, we'll see. I would like. I think if I do it, I might just do like 10 bottles and see if anyone's interested. It might be one of those things where I make 10 bottles and it goes insane, and then I'm like, oh no, I need to make.
You need to make 1,000 bottles now. Well, for anyone who's watching, definitely make sure to drop a comment down below and let us know what they think about Kieron's bubble formula idea, whether or not it's something you'd be interested in getting on board with, and whether you'd be interested in purchasing said bubble solution if it became available. Because obviously, dude, 1 million people out there, here's the thing. Even if 1% of 1 million people decide they're interested in your bubble formula, that's 10,000 bottles of bubble formula. So
that's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of
so
bubbles.
I did think about doing it on Kickstarter, but I didn't know if that was a good place because it's not like I can finance it myself. There's not an.
I would avoid Kickstarter if you can.
I didn't know if that was the best place.
Yeah. Kickstarter's not bad for things like that. We can talk a little bit after, but Kickstarter, the 10% hit you get there will automatically make it not worth it if you can fund it yourself and if it's something that you think has a lot of earning potential, because Kickstarter is a good marketing. And actually, that's the way, if you were going to do it, I would say do a limited batch on Kickstarter. So you minimize how much you lose, you gain a little bit of insight into how much demand there is, and then you do like a pre-order on a site or just a direct to market after the fact. That way you can actually maximize how much you can, make back on it. So,
yeah. Well, go on.
I was going to say, but we can definitely chat more about that later.
Yeah, sure. Are people still watching?
Yeah, we still have a couple people on. We're going to ask right now if anyone has any last minute questions for Kieron, other than bubble formula questions, because he's not going to tell you what the secret formula is. But, dude, I got to say, it's been, first off, by no means did I wake up this morning thinking I was going to watch a guy pull a coin out of his nose. So I'm going to tell you right now, that shit blew my mind.
You didn't think so? Dude, I knew that all along.
I was expecting a little bit of, the water spout and things like that. But the coin out of the nose, like, that one caught me. It
all shocked me. It all blew my mind.
I mean, It's all impressive. The fact, I'm still, like, amazed at how much it isn't just like you're not gagging something up, you're not inducing vomiting. And I read an article talking about how you went through the whole process, and with the x-rays showing that you're not actually inducing vomiting, the fact that you're able to get stuff up and it literally is like a tongue conveyor belt, just brings it up and you're like, what the hell just happened? It's the coolest thing.
Yeah. As I said, I've been doing it since I was a kid, so it's very natural for me.
Well, because you know what? Because that's kids come up with the coolest shit. That's why no adult would sit there and be like, "How do I regurgitate coins?" Like, if you don't figure that out as a kid, you're probably not going to figure it out as an adult, because your level of like of not caring is so much lower as a kid. You're like, "Yo, this sounds awesome. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it until I turn blue in the face and get it." Like, as an adult, you're like, "Ah, man, I gotta go get groceries. I can't learn how to regurgitate coins." Like, it's not as fun.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh, man. Well, Kieron, I got to say, man, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on. For anyone out there watching who has not checked out Kieron's social media, like I said, we have the link to his TikTok and his Instagram down below in the description. You absolutely need to check it out. Go give him a follow on both, because he's dropping amazing content all the time. Definitely got me laughing today. Every time I see one of his videos, it's got me laughing. So it was great to be able to actually see it live and in person. It was next level, man.
It's so fun.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute blast. And everyone, keep an eye out for bubble formula potentially coming from Kieron, but also just supporting hardworking, amazing creators who are out there doing stuff for fun to bring you a little bit of laughs. Check out the Jesus, I'm like blanking on words right now here. The Immortal Bubble, so that you don't. So for anyone who was out there wondering the whole time what we were talking about, the Immortal Bubble, you need to go check out Kieron's TikTok and check out this series here.
Watch episode 1 so it makes sense.
There you go. Yeah, watch episode 1 so it makes sense, and then when you get to episode, what are you up to now?
Woody?
31.
All right, so when you get to, thankfully it's TikTok, so worst case, the longest the video is 3 minutes, so you're fine. But definitely check it out, everyone.
10 seconds.
Yeah,
10 seconds,
there you go. 10 seconds, you're breezy. So you get through 31 of them in less than a couple minutes. Definitely get you a good
could watch the series
there.
in 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just they get stupid after a while. So
that's funny.
Dude, in my head, most TikTok videos are stupid, so you're good.
Dude, I absolutely love it.
When I first started the series, I was always like, made sure everything looked really good. Like there was no soap anywhere to have. But by episode 6, I just stopped caring. So you can see that I've like by the time you get to episode 29, you can literally see the cactus dripping with bubble formula. Like there's no subtlety. So when the kids are going like, I know how you did it. I'm like, if you watched episode 1, you would know this is a parody series. This is a parody series. But you're coming into an episode 30, and they're like, I know how he did it. I'm like, it's not hidden. I even teach it on the channel. There's even a video on how to do it. 50, like, it's not a secret.
That's how you build up your YouTube, man. You're talking about, building out your YouTube as something different. Make it like Kieron the Mad Scientist, and make it the behind the scenes of the bubble formulation and that whole journey, and try and like ridiculous stuff with bubbles, but make it like almost like Bill Nye or something.
Yeah, well, I probably should, but I'm just gonna probably chill. I'm gonna just do well on Chinese YouTube. That's my plan.
Nice.
Well, hopefully anything you pick up, there's a lot more people, Billy, yeah. There's a lot more people on Chinese YouTube than regular YouTube probably, so you're good to go.
Yeah.
But dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. Honestly, it's been a pleasure. Like I said, stick around a little bit after. We'll chit chat a little bit in the backstage. But for everyone out there watching, thank you so much for coming out today to check out this episode of Deckin Around with Kieron Johnson, aka Kieron the Mighty, who is one of the biggest growing YouTube UK or TikTok UK guys, I have to say, out there in a while. I have a year and 1 million followers is impressive as hell, no matter what anyone says. Even if tomorrow it all, TikTok gets shut down. I know that was a big fear for a while, but like, even if it all goes away, that's an impressive accomplishment. And I think if nothing else, you've learned amazing things over this past year with it. And I hope you feel like you've enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah,
I have enjoyed it.
Good, man. Good. Well, thank you everyone out there for tuning in to this episode of Deckin Around. Make sure to tune in this week for some fun more episodes of Kickstarter and this week's top 3, which will be going live this Thursday. And for everyone else out there, if you haven't already, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And who are we having on next week?
You'll have to let me know, Steve. I forget.
Reza the Illusionist.
There we go. Yeah, so next week we're going to be having Reza the Illusionist on. Make sure to keep an eye out for time on that one. That may actually be later than usual just due to some scheduling conflicts. Yes. But with that in mind, we do appreciate it, each and every one of you coming out to check out the podcast, and especially Kieron for coming on to chat with us about crazy stuff and regurgitating his coffee today, which I know he had to make some new coffee after. So we're glad you got your coffee back in you. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening.
Peace.